It bears an image on it, ventral, front, and back dorsal, of a human figure.
Just imagine a 14-foot-long ancient cloth which has survived for centuries, facing fire, war, looting, doubt, debates, and the harsh impact of time, yet still remains today. So many empires disappeared, so many cities turned into ashes. But this cloth somehow came out of the darkness of history and is now standing right in front of us. People kept considering it just a religious symbol. Some called it a fraud, and some believed it was a miracle. But the real turning point came when not humans, but machines started examining it. Recently, extremely high-resolution scans of this cloth were fed into an advanced neural network. The goal was not just to see what is visible on it, but to understand whether a computer can catch what human eyes could not. And this is where the story starts becoming unsettling. Because the AI detected such mathematical patterns and symmetry beneath the image that even experts got disturbed. And honestly, what comes next only makes this mystery even deeper. Some people don't want this to reach you, so to support us, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Ever since this cloth came into the world's view, questions have always been raised. Is it real, or a cleverly created deception? Some people saw it as a symbol of faith, while others called it a brilliant fake. But the real twist came when modern science stepped in. When the image on this cloth was analyzed in detail, what came out shocked everyone. At first glance, it looks like a simple image, but as soon as it was deeply scanned, repeating geometric patterns started appearing underneath. And these patterns are not something that could just randomly form. Their symmetry is so precise that researchers are no longer considering it random. They say it behaves like a structured system, like a data set that has been carefully arranged. From here, the thinking starts to change. If this was just a painting, there would be brush strokes, colors, or at least some artistic marks. But nothing like that is visible here. Instead, this cloth behaves as if some information is encoded within it, like a hidden message that is not directly visible. Now, this is no longer just about faith. It has become a question of data and science as well. And that is exactly what makes this mystery even more dangerous and fascinating. Because if this is truly an encoded object, then the question becomes, what exactly is hidden inside it? When the image on this cloth was analyzed through computers, researchers noticed something very specific. They observed that the darkness and intensity of the image perfectly matched the distance between the body and the cloth. In simple words, where the body was closer to the cloth, the image appears darker, and where the distance was slightly more, the image is lighter. Now think about what that means. It means this is not a simple flat drawing. It behaves like a 3D relief map, as if someone recorded the complete shape of the body, including its depth and distance, onto a flat cloth. And this is exactly the point where even science pauses for a moment and starts questioning. But the real shock is still left. When this image was examined even more closely, it was found that it does not go deep into the fibers of the cloth at all. And it exists only on the very top layer, just a few hundred nanometers thick. To understand this, think of a comparison. A human hair is about 80,000 nanometers thick. And this image? It exists on a layer thousands of times thinner than that. Almost like it just lightly touched the surface and passed on. And the most important thing, no paint was found, no pigment, no dye. That means it was neither painted nor created using any traditional method. So the question becomes, if this is not a painting, then what is it? Just think. An artist from the medieval period had neither the technology nor the knowledge to create such precise 3D information on a cloth without using any color or tools. It is almost like someone in that era somehow created something that behaves like computer-generated data. To pick up any painting you want, no matter how old or how great it is, there is always a direction in it. Somewhere, the brush has moved. Layers of color are visible. You can find marks of charcoal or some tool. If you look carefully, you can understand in which direction the artist's hand moved. But here, there is nothing like that. In the image formed on this cloth, there is no brush stroke, no paint, no pigment, no charcoal, no sign of rubbing. There is nothing that helps you understand how it was made. It feels as if the image appeared on its own, without any human involvement. And this is where the real mystery begins. When scientists examined the fibers at a microscopic level, another shocking detail came out. There was no color filled inside the fibers, but instead, a slight chemical change was present on their surface. It looked as if the fibers were very lightly scorched, but not burned. Now, this becomes even stranger because this effect feels like it was caused by some kind of energy, something that behaved like light, but also had a physical impact. Meaning, it was not purely light and not exactly a solid thing either, something in between, which we still cannot fully understand. And this is the point where the viewer starts to feel it themselves, that, okay, this cannot be a normal artwork, because if this is not a painting, and no one even touched it to create it, then how was it formed? This very question makes the mystery deeper, and takes us into a direction where both science and logic begin to feel slightly weak. What hidden details AI detected? Now, from here, the story becomes even deeper and a bit unsettling. Because now, it is not just about patterns or geometry, and it is about those details that human eyes could never see. When the image of this cloth was scanned in detail by AI, it detected things that no one had ever even imagined before. First of all, thousands of tiny wound marks, so subtle that they are almost invisible to the naked eye. But when the machine highlighted them, it became clear that these are not random marks. Their pattern matches the descriptions of ancient tortures mentioned in historical records, as if every injury, every strike, has been recorded in a precise pattern. And then comes the detail that truly shocked the researchers: faint marks over the eyes. At first glance, they seem like nothing. But when AI zoomed in and analyzed them, it revealed that these were impressions of something. And when examined more deeply, they turned out to be coins. Yes, coins. And not just any coins, but ones that were minted around 29 CE. Now just pause and think. If this cloth was created in the 1300s, as some people claim, then how could a person from that time know the exact design of coins that were 1,300 years older? That too with such precision that even their faint impressions were recreated? This alone raises a huge question, but it does not end here. AI also revealed that the amount of information present in this image is far greater than any image created before the 19th century. Images from that time simply did not contain this level of depth, layered detail, or micro-level information. Here, it feels like every single pixel carries a hidden story within it. And this is exactly the point where the story stops being just about science and starts becoming a feeling. Because now it does not feel like just an image anymore. It feels like the complete story of a person who went through pain, suffering, and some very significant event. So now the question becomes even heavier. If no human created all this, then where did these details come from? And honestly, the more we try to solve this mystery, the more it keeps getting complicated. Blood, body, and biological evidence. Until now, we were talking about patterns, geometry, and the image. But what comes next is directly connected to biology. And this is the part that makes the whole mystery feel even more real. First, let's talk about the blood. The blood stains found on this cloth were analyzed, and it was confirmed that it is real human blood. And not just that, it belongs to the AB blood group, which is considered quite rare. But the real twist is here. AI and lab analysis showed that this blood was already present before the image was formed. That means the body bled first, and only after that, the image appeared over that blood. Now think about it. If someone was trying to fake this, they would first create the image and then add blood. But here, the sequence is completely reversed. And this single detail weakens the entire forgery theory. Now comes another shocking point. Bilirubin. This is a chemical that increases in human blood when the body goes through extreme trauma. The blood found on this cloth showed a much higher level of bilirubin than normal. In simple words, the person whose blood this was had gone through intense physical pain and suffering, and AI proved this in even more detail. When the image was zoomed and analyzed, more than 120 scourge marks, whip marks, were identified. And the most surprising thing, these marks follow a pattern. AI even detected that these strikes were made by two individuals of different heights, and even estimated where they were standing at that time. This means these are not random injuries. This is a recorded pattern of a complete event. Now let's talk about DNA. Some samples showed genetic traces that match populations from the Middle East. That means this was not just a random person. Their origin is also connected to a specific region. Now just look back for a moment. Real human blood, rare blood group, trauma indicators, perfectly matched wound patterns, even the positions of the attackers detected. What do all these things together suggest? 1988 carbon dating, the test that misled everyone. The year was 1988. 3 major laboratories in the world performed carbon dating tests on this cloth. The method was simple. A small sample of the cloth was taken, and its age was determined. The result came out around 700 years old. That means the medieval period. And just like that, many people gave their verdict, case closed, this is fake. For years, it was believed that there was no need to debate this anymore. But the real story does not end here. In fact, it begins from here. Slowly, researchers started re-examining that test, and the first major issue that came up was the location of the sample. The piece of cloth that was tested was taken from a corner, the same corner that had been touched the most over centuries. During public exhibitions, people held it, lifted it, observed it, and over the years, sweat, oil, and dirt kept accumulating on it. Now, think about it. When something is touched again and again, new carbon traces keep getting added to it. And if that exact portion is used for testing, how accurate can the result really be? But the twist does not end here. History tells us that in 1532, a massive fire broke out. The place where this cloth was kept had a metal box that almost melted. Molten silver dripped onto the cloth, creating several holes in it. Later, some nuns repaired the cloth, but the technique they used was so advanced that even today it is called invisible reweaving. In this process, new threads were blended with the old linen so perfectly that detecting the repair became almost impossible. And now comes the biggest revelation. The sample that was taken for carbon dating was very likely from this repaired section, not from the original cloth. So that means scientists were actually measuring the age of a part that was added later, not the real cloth that had existed for centuries. And this is where the entire story turns upside down. The test that was considered the final truth for years may have been based on the wrong sample from the very beginning. Now the question is no longer whether the cloth is 700 years old. The real question is, if the original part was never tested, then what is its actual age? Now, if you think that's all, the story goes even deeper. Because as that old test was re-examined in detail, more and more evidence started coming out. Researchers studied the threads from that corner section at a microscopic level, and what they found was quite surprising. Those threads showed traces of plant-based gum, meaning some kind of natural adhesive was used, likely to join new and old fibers. Along with that, a light yellow dye coating was also found, probably to make the repaired area look like the original cloth. And most importantly, cotton fibers were found in that section, while the original cloth is believed to be pure linen. Now just think about it. If the original cloth is linen, but the tested section contains cotton, gum, and dye, can that really be considered an original sample? To understand this, think of a simple example. Imagine you have a 100-year-old vintage car, but you recently replaced its tires. Now, if someone tries to determine the age of the car by testing only the new tires, will they get the correct age? Of course not. The same mistake happened here. Now scientists started using new methods. Apart from carbon dating, so techniques like X-ray analysis and fiber degradation studies were used, meaning they checked how much the linen fibers had naturally aged over time. And the results that came out were completely different from before. These new tests suggested that the cloth could be around 2,000 years old, placing it roughly in the same time period as the person seen in the image. And not just that. Researchers also found pollen grains on this cloth that are specifically found around Jerusalem. Along with that, some rare limestone particles were identified, matching the type of stones used in ancient tombs of that region. Now the picture slowly starts becoming clearer. On one side, there was the old test, possibly based on the wrong sample. And on the other side, there are modern scientific methods telling a completely different story. And this is where the entire narrative changes. Now the question is not whether this cloth is fake or not. The question is, have we been understanding it the wrong way all these years? And from here, the story truly reaches a level where the mind starts asking questions on its own. Because some researchers no longer consider this image an artwork. According to them, this is not something created by an artist, but possibly the recording of a massive energy event. And from this idea, a new term has emerged: resurrection signal. Just think. If at a single moment an intense burst of energy was released, could it leave its imprint on surrounding objects? Researchers say, yes. And maybe that is exactly what happened here. They believe that a sudden burst of radiation transferred the complete information of the body directly onto the cloth. That is why computers do not read this image as a painting, but as data points, as if that moment was frozen and recorded forever. Now things become even stranger, because some calculations suggest that at that moment, time and space were not behaving normally. It was like a point where the laws of physics slightly shifted. Now comes another concept: corona discharge. This is an electrical phenomenon usually seen during strong electric activity or storms. When researchers studied the chemical signature of the fibers on this cloth, they found patterns that resemble corona discharge. It feels as if the image was formed through some kind of electrical energy. And maybe that is the reason why this cloth has remained so strong even today. Where normally such old linen cloths would break apart and disintegrate, this cloth is still stable. Some people believe that the energy burst did not just create the image, but also stabilize the fibers at an atomic level, as if something preserved it. Now another interesting point If such a massive energy was released, it must have also affected the surrounding carbon. This could mean that the carbon dating results were confused, because that energy altered the atomic structure. So the very event that people call a miracle may actually have become a source of confusion for science. And now, just connect the full picture. One sudden energy burst, transferring the body's information onto the cloth like data. Electrical signatures, unusually strong fibers, and changes in time-space behavior. If all this is true, then we are not just looking at an ancient object. We are looking at a moment that may lie outside the known rules of physics. And this is where the story becomes even more mysterious. Because now the question is not just, how did this happen? But, will we ever truly understand it? Quantum hologram, lasers, neutrons, event horizon, stroboscopic effect. First, let's talk about a strange but widely discussed idea: quantum hologram. Some researchers believe that at that moment, the body may have become transparent to its surroundings for a brief time, meaning the cloth could have passed through the body. And during that instant, its full 3D information was recorded all at once, like capturing a hologram. Now you might think this is just a theory, but scientists have tried to test it through experiments. In advanced labs, high-powered lasers were used to recreate such an image. And the result was even more shocking. To produce a similar image, billions of watts of vacuum ultraviolet light were required, an amount of energy greater than what an entire city consumes, and that too within a fraction of a second. It is clear, not just in medieval times, but even a few centuries ago, generating such energy was impossible. Now another theory connects here: neutron burst, or something like cold fusion. According to this idea, neutrons released from the body could have altered the carbon atoms in the cloth. And if that happened, it could explain why carbon dating gave misleading results. Because when changes occur at an atomic level, objects can appear to have a different age than their actual one. Now comes another mind-bending concept: event horizon theory. In physics, an event horizon is a boundary where time and space behave differently from normal conditions, like near a black hole. Some researchers believe that for a brief moment, the body and the cloth may have entered a similar state. That is why the image does not look like it was formed by reflected light. Instead, it feels as if the body itself became a source of light, energy emerging from within. And this connects to another strange observation: the stroboscopic effect. AI analysis suggests that the image was not formed all at once, but in extremely rapid layers, like the body was vibrating at a very high speed, and each vibration left a separate exposure. All of this happened so quickly that it appears as a single image in the end. Now, just bring all of this together: quantum transparency, impossible levels of energy, atomic changes, time-space distortion, and multi-layered recording. All of this points to one thing: this was not a normal event. And maybe that is why, the more we try to understand it through science, the more it keeps pushing us toward something that feels almost impossible. Now here, the story reaches a completely different level, where it is no longer just science, but starts feeling like a cosmic puzzle. Because when researchers looked at this image more deeply, they did not just see the figure of a human, they saw hidden geometry within it. First of all, the proportions of the face and hands. When these were measured, they matched the golden ratio at several points, the same ratio that appears everywhere in nature, in the spiral of shells, in tree branches, even in the patterns of galaxies. Now this could be a coincidence, but the story does not end here. This geometry is not limited to just the face. The body posture, the position of the hands, and even the flow pattern of blood show a strange kind of mathematical harmony. It feels as if not just a body was formed, but a complete balanced design was created. Now from here, another theory comes in: resonance theory. Some researchers believe that the proportions of this image match certain frequencies of the human voice. That means there could be a connection between shape and sound. It may sound a bit strange, but there is a field in science called cymatics, where sound waves create visible patterns. And interestingly, some patterns in the weaving of this cloth look like frozen sound waves. Now think about it. Could this image have been formed through some kind of vibration or sound? And this is where the story becomes even more interesting. AI analysis also suggests that this image does not just contain surface details, but may also hold internal information, as if an X-ray and a photograph were combined into one. Some people describe it as if this cloth is acting like a biological hard drive, storing the information of that body. Which means this is not just an image. It could be a form of data storage. Now comes the most mind-blowing idea: star map theory. Some researchers claim that the proportions of this image resemble the distances within our solar system, as if cosmic mathematics has been encoded into the shape of a human body. This is a bold idea, and there is no solid proof yet. But the pattern matching has made many people think, if that is true, then this is not just the image of a person. It could be a coded map, a message that is far beyond our current understanding. What the truth is still not completely clear. But one thing is certain: the more we analyze this image, the more it pushes us toward a new perspective. Maybe this is not just a piece of history, but a kind of language that we are only beginning to learn how to read. And the most interesting part, if this is truly a message, what is it trying to tell us? And now we have reached the final turning point of the story, where questions become heavier than answers. Because everything we have seen so far, geometry, biology, energy, quantum effects, all together create something that does not feel like just a cloth. It feels like something more. Some people call it a glitch, as if it is a small error in our reality. A moment where the rules broke for a few seconds. Some consider it a time anomaly, as if a future event somehow got recorded in the past. And some go even further. Could this be the work of an advanced intelligence? Or an experiment by a time traveler? It sounds like something out of a movie. But when data repeatedly challenges normal physics, every possibility has to be considered. Now think again about that image, that face, that body. It is neither stretched nor distorted, as if gravity itself was not acting in that moment. Some researchers believe that maybe the body was not even touching the ground at that time, but was in a strange transition, like matter slowly turning into energy. And then comes the most unsettling idea. Some analyses suggest that the DNA of that person was not exactly like ours. It may have had an extra layer, like a hidden instruction set, a code, possibly a blueprint for future evolution. Now, just think, if this is true, what does it mean? It does not mean we are just looking at something from the past. It could mean we are looking at a glimpse of our own future. And this is where the real point comes out. The power of this cloth is not in the fact that it survived for centuries, but in what it holds inside. It could be an information carrier, a message, that we have still not fully understood. The machine has only brought us to the door. Going inside is still left. So now the biggest question is in front of you. Is this just a body image, or a hidden code for the future of humanity? Do share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to watch more such mysterious and mind-blowing videos first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.